Jefton Banks with HotMovies here with Lisey Sweet.
No.
So for those of the HotMovies fans that aren't familiar with your work yet, do you want to sort of give yourself a little intro?
Well, I'm somewhat new-ish to the industry. I guess I'm coming up on 3 years, so it's entirely possible that you haven't come across my work yet. But I'm approaching maybe like 200 scenes, and most of my work tends to be pretty hardcore. Lots of anal, lots of gangbangs, things of that nature, BDSM stuff. But I do everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. And if anybody's read interviews with you, it goes on and on. But
Yeah.
you entered the industry at sort of a later age.
I did.
Okay. How old were you when you?
I was 27.
27.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, do you want to tell a little bit about your educational background and
Sure.
your professional background?
That seems to be one of the most interesting parts of the interviews that I've done before.
Everything about you is interesting.
Oh, thank you. I have a degree in molecular cellular biology, and I was working on a master's for immunology and microbiology. I studied infectious diseases for 7 years as a research scientist, and towards the end of my scientific career, I was running a cellular imaging lab, as well as a really large infectious diseases and vaccine development lab. And I have a Nature Medicine publication, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. All right, cool. So you had said in other interviews and stuff that part of the reason that you went into science was you were sort of bouncing around a little bit, and math first came super easy for you, where you were just finishing ahead of everybody else and faster, and then the same with science. Have you always felt sort of like a little bit of a outsider as far as that goes, like intellect and...
Somewhat. I want to say that when I was in high school, I did feel like an outsider a lot of times. I had a hard time relating to my peers and other classmates, and even now I think I only talk to like one person I went to high school with, and she's also in the adult industry, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I had a hard time growing up, really connecting with other people my age. And I did really well in school, but I will admit that kind of as a high schooler, I was probably a little bit on the lazy side. So I guess going into college, I anticipated things to come very easy to me as far as education goes. And I started out as a sports arts and entertainment management major at Point Park University. And this was because I had actually wanted to go to school for musical theater. But just thinking about being in New York City and living with like 10 roommates and like scraping by and just the circles of people was not appealing to me. Although I loved performing, I did not want to live that lifestyle. So I thought that this would be kind of cool. I could maybe manage a theater or somewhat be immersed in it, right?
Okay.
And as I was moving along, I was taking the required, core classes. And I was in a math class that was kind of like a basic math class. And the instructor was like, you shouldn't be in this level of class. Like, you should be in a higher level class. Why don't I see if I can bump you up into one of the higher levels? You'd probably benefit more from it. And so I was like, okay. And eventually I started to really enjoy the math, and I was doing really well with it. And I said, okay, let's be a high school math teacher. And I pretty much I switched my major to mathematics secondary education, and I finished all but one of the math classes that were required, and I was getting ready to student teach. So like I was entering I went in the summer and I took like 4 classes over the summer. One of them was Calculus 3, and then that fall I was supposed to be student teaching, and I started to be like, I don't want to do this, and freaking out. All the while I was doing science classes. I had to take biology, and I really liked that. I excelled at it very well. So that's when I kind of decided to start taking science classes and delaying that, and then eventually switching my major to science and taking like 21, 23 credits per semester, and I only went one extra semester, believe it or not. So
I believe it.
I graduated with a degree in molecular cellular biology.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So there's one very famous example of, in the adult industry, somebody being publicly smart, and that's Asia Carrera had always had that preface that she was a Mensa member. Have you ever thought about doing that yourself?
Oh, I don't think I'm smart enough for that.
Why not?
I'm just, I'm good at critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I can learn things easily. But I don't know. I would say I'm an intelligent person, but I don't know. It seems kind of just like a little gold star to be part of that, and I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, well, I know that you have a very vibrant sort of sex life outside of adult, and in adult you do a lot of anal, a lot of Evil Angel titles, Perv City, you're into gangbangs, you're into anal. What is it that you haven't done yet that you would like to do in adult?
That's difficult. I know that quadruple anal has been done before, so that would be of interest to me. And the way that you do that is that you do triple anal and then you use like a fuck machine to do the fourth.
So you don't just like tip a guy, you don't use
triple anal as it is really, really difficult for people to coordinate. It's really easy for me, although I have to kind of be held in like a half Nelson, which is kind of uncomfortable for the guys to be balancing to be able to do it. But it's more, I would say it's more difficult for the guys to do it, because all I have to do is have a hole that's big enough, that will stretch big enough, and then the guys have to figure out who goes where, and you have to have the right kind of furniture too.
Right.
It's harder than it looks.
I believe it. Now, you like gangbangs. Have you ever thought about trying to recreate something like the Houston 500 or whatever? Like, would that ever be something you would think about? Like the super mega gangbangs?
I have considered that. I will tell you, this is a little bit of behind the scenes, and unsexy as it may be, gangbangs are really difficult to coordinate. And for my birthday gangbang that I had recently, I filmed and I put it for free on Pornhub. I wanted to have as many people as I could. The only stipulation was that they had to be willing to sign a model release, because you need to have the required paperwork to publish somebody in explicit content, and that they also had to be tested. So I don't know if that was the barrier, that people were not willing to spend the $165 to get tested.
Right.
I don't know, I can't remember if those big gangbangs usually have people that are untested or if they use condoms. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
But that is of interest to me. I think that the thing that I need to have is a network of people that do things like that regularly. Right. So here in LA, I can reach out to adult talent, but they expect to be paid for their work. And when I was in Atlanta, there were actually a lot of swinging groups and people that like to do gangbangs. So it actually would be a lot more feasible for me to try to do it in Atlanta, potentially. I know that there's also some groups in other countries, like I want to say Barcelona, and I think somewhere in Japan that they potentially do that.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just guessing, I don't know for sure, but yeah, so it's really important to have a network of people that can all agree to do that, because when you put it out there, there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, I get to bang a porn star, that's really cool. And then push comes to shove, they start to freak out about it, or they're not sure if their wife will see them, or
Right.
You know, it's a little scary. They don't know if they're going to get hard in front of like 50 other guys. It's not easy to perform. So I think that sometimes scares people a little bit. So in my call for my gangbang to get as many people as I could, I got 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I really heavily advertised. So, although I wasn't paying people.
Your payment enough, right?
Yes, the payment was that you get to have sex with me.
That's a pretty good reward, I think. Do you find that in your personal life, off camera, the fact that you're a porn star and a well-known one at that intimidates people? Or is that a benefit to life outside of camera?
Generally, I don't tell people that I meet up with because it does scare them, and sometimes performance anxiety is a detriment to my experience and their experience. And also sometimes if I'm talking to people, if I tell them I'm a porn star, they don't believe it and they don't think that I'm real. So generally,
you're
I
like
keep
a
it to myself
phantom
until
catfish.
afterwards. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, if it's an online thing, if my picture is used, a lot of people think that it's not real.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
a too good to be true kind of thing.
You are too good to be true.
Tell it to my husband.
I'm sure he knows it. So, in adult, you've worked with several studios. Like you said, you have over 200 scenes now.
I think I'm approaching 200.
Oh, okay. Almost 200.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any studios you haven't worked with that you would like to?
Yeah. I would really, really love to work for Digital Playground. I was an extra for them once. And, Brazzers has not shot me officially. I've worked for every other company under their little umbrella. And I frequently work for their new company, Why Not Buy. So I would love to work for Brazzers, and I think that I would like to work for Bang Brothers as well.
Okay.
I feel like my image and the stuff that I do is very much in line with what they do. So
Okay.
that would be exciting to work for them.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really natural fit.
Yeah.
One place that I was thinking you would fit perfectly, I was reading in your interviews, you mentioned something about this. So I have to ask, you can be as diplomatic as you want. You know where this is going?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Why won't Greg Lansky shoot you?
He just, apparently, somebody told me that he said that he will not shoot me. So I can speculate all day what that reason is, and I have some speculations, but at the end of the day, I'm still working for a lot of other companies, and they appreciate me. They like my work. It's getting recognized. Gang Bang Me 4 from Hardex was just, they just won the Best Gonzo title for Night Moves Awards.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. So, we're doing really good work, and so just because I'm not part of that doesn't make me any less valuable.
No, not at all. You've been nominated, you were nominated for Best Newcomer also, right?
I was.
Okay.
Hottest newcomer, and for XRC as Super Slut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any award goals going forward?
I would really, nomination season is here, in the next couple weeks, and I'm scrambling to try to figure out my outfits. Because that's always a big deal for me, is outfits. Right. I would love to be nominated and win awards because that recognition is validating, right? But at the end of the day, if you're still working and you don't get nominated for anything, then, at the end of the day, this is my job, so income is more important than awards on my shelf. So there's a lot of people I know that win tons of awards, but they're sitting at home trying to figure out how they're going to make their rent
Mhm.
or whatever. So I'm just happy that I'm working a lot and that the people who hire me are recognizing that I do a good job and that they
Right.
like working with me and all of that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I keep getting distracted by your nails. So you want to show them to the camera for a little? Okay. So you're really into having elaborate nails
Yeah.
done, right? And you do camming still?
I still do Skype shows on occasion,
Okay.
but I haven't done camming in a few months.
Okay.
I'm just too busy
Okay.
for that. But potentially, maybe I'll go back to it. We'll see.
Alright.
I know there's probably a lot of my camming regulars that miss me, but
I'll bet. But nails were a sort of prominent part of your cam routine, if I'm not mistaken?
I would say that a lot of people appreciated them,
Mhm.
and I have to say that I actually expected there to be a lot more nail fetish people out there than there are.
Mhm.
So I do have a couple of fans that are really die-hard
Mhm.
nail fetish people, but not as many as I anticipated. Obviously, I have a slight nail fetish as well. I get very excited talking about them and getting to kind of use them in my scenes and
Uh-huh.
highlighting them.
Okay.
I know when I work for Kink a lot, especially for James Mogul, every time I come in, he's like, "Oh my God, those nails!" And so he'll set up a lot of shots that really highlight my nails. So
Right.
next time you watch a James Mogul scene, try to notice that he does that.
Okay.
But yeah, I love my nails. These ones in particular are a little bit more elaborate than my typical nails, and they're actually like heavy.
I was gonna say they look like maybe a pound combined.
That was one thing I didn't anticipate when I got this full gem set, that they
Uh-huh.
would be actually have weight to them.
Right.
So
No, that's cool.
yeah, but I'm thinking about, I probably have some ideas for my next 3 sets already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
good.
for AVN, my nails are gonna be
Is
real
it-
bitchin'.
Is it a surprise, or do
It's
you
a
want to?
surprise.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to overpromise.
Okay.
You know, it'd be something that my nail girl has never tried before, so it would be something pretty unique that people have never seen before.
Ooh, I can't
Hopefully,
wait to find out.
fingers crossed that it'll work out, but we'll see.
I have faith. So, what other fetishes do you have?
Personally, I have a bit of a medical fetish. I like instrumentation, machines, I like the gloves, I like the deliberateness of like examining somebody. And of course, all of the cute outfits that go with it. One of my favorite outfits is a latex nurse outfit that I have. And, you know, I don't want to wear outfits too many times, but, you know, that one sits in my closet and I look at it and I'm like, oh, I love it so much. And I do really love latex. I wouldn't say that I have a latex fetish, but I love the look of latex, how fetishy it is, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I do love my feet to be worshipped, and I don't know, I guess that's probably like most of it,
Okay.
my bulleted point fetishes that I have.
Yeah. Sounds good. And in other interviews, you mentioned that you're super flexible because you have a joint condition.
I do.
And I couldn't find in any of the interviews where you actually discussed it further than that. Do you want to educate people about maybe what it is and the benefits, maybe some of the drawbacks?
Yeah. Well, I haven't officially been diagnosed, but unofficially diagnosed, because it is very difficult to diagnose.
Okay.
And it's a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome,
Okay.
and it's genetic. My cousin has it as well. And basically it's just a mutation in your genes that make collagen. So all of your connective tissues have collagen in them. And
okay.
if you're unlucky enough to have one of the types that affects the connective tissue for your vital organs, it can be very,
Yeah.
detrimental
Yeah.
to you.
Little
But
dicey.
luckily, I have the kind that makes me super flexible. So
Yeah,
all
the
of my
superpower.
superpower, right? So all of my joints can kind of slip in and out of their sockets. They're very flexible. I can put my legs behind my head. So in the context of doing porn, I can do a lot of things that other people can't do. One thing that I can do is I can give a foot job and a blow job at the same time. The drawbacks are that sometimes when I do things like that, that I am more easy, like it's easier to injure my joints as
Okay.
well. So right now I've got labral tears that I just
wow.
have to deal with, and exercise is really difficult for me. Even though for me to avoid having chronic pain, I have to exercise as much as possible.
Okay.
And I go to physical therapy twice a week. So I can't do things like, I can't do like regular exercises because I will dislocate my knee or dislocate my shoulder or things like that. Can be really difficult. So I have modified exercises that I do, and I have to do them regularly, otherwise I will have chronic pain.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'll get an injury and I can't work out for a period of time, which is agonizing. But then, like, you know, you could start to tell that I've like started to put on a little bit of weight, and I'm like, no, I'm dealing with an injury. So that kind of sucks. But otherwise, and then also the drawback is that one of the symptoms is that you have translucent skin.
Oh.
And although it doesn't look like it,
No.
it looks like I have normal skin. One of the things is that I bruise really easily,
Oh, okay.
and that you'll see bruises on me constantly. If you tap me wrong or if you look at me wrong, I'll have a bruise on my butt for a month.
Wow.
And yeah, and they get really bad.
Okay.
So somebody's like, "Oh my God, were you in a car accident?" And I'm like, "No, I fell onto a box." Yeah, so it's bad,
Okay. All right. But all told, it's a net positive, it sounds like.
I would say there's probably more negative sides to it,
Okay.
but anytime that you're given something, you have to make the best of it and take advantage of the advantages.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you take full advantage.
Yeah.
So, your stage name, Lisey Sweet, you had told me that it is because of Game of Thrones, the Khaleesi.
It's not because of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's not.
I
Okay.
just use it. Sometimes people have a hard time pronouncing my name, so I like to give associations.
Okay.
So a lot of people know Khaleesi from Game of Thrones,
Gotcha.
so I say it's Lisey, like Khaleesi.
Nice.
But it's actually a nickname that my husband had for me since we got together
Oh, that's
like 10
cute.
years ago.
Uh-huh.
So I've always been Lisey.
Okay. And the sweet came...
He just came up with
You're
it.
just sweet.
Yeah, you know, and I've got my coffee mug here, The Sweet Life.
Sweet life. Very nice. Available on your website?
No, I got this from one of those candy pop-ups in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And I was like, it looks like a mug that should be, you know, associated with me. So I thought,
Yeah, totally.
I'm like really into coffee mugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have a collection?
I kind of collect them, but every so often I have to kind of go weed through them because you only have so much cabinet space. So I
Right.
go to the ones that like hold sentimental value. But
That
I
makes
do
sense.
really love coffee mugs, like
Good.
ceramic coffee mugs.
Do you have any other collections?
Shoes.
Okay.
A lot of my fans buy me shoes quite often, and some of them can be kind of outrageous. So I do have sort of a shoe collection, and my husband is always like, "We don't have enough room for those shoes. You have to start getting rid of some." And I'm like, even though I can't wear them, I don't want to get rid of them. And if I see like a Steve Madden shoe store, like walking on the promenade, I'll walk inside and I'll just like lose everything that I was thinking about. And I'm just like, okay, look at those boots. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, those sandals. And I just get crazy.
So what kind of shoes are your favorite?
I do have a hard time wearing heels in general, but I would say from looks alone, I love boots.
Okay.
They're just so cute. Or like the Louboutins, like the really high pitch ones, but I can't wear them very long.
Just a little too difficult, huh?
Yeah, I sort of have wide feet, so, and, starts to cramp the toenails a little bit. So
Sounds good.
I try to stay to open-toed shoes for the most part.
Living in Southern California, you have to, right?
Yeah, so I can, it's not a problem. I'm not trudging through snow.
You grew up in the snow, though?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up just outside of Erie, Pennsylvania, which is about 2 hours north of Pittsburgh. And it's the snowiest city in the United States. Last year they got like 7 feet.
Wow.
So I grew up with lots of snow, lots of cold weather. Yeah.
Sounds like you don't miss it.
I don't. As I became an adult, when I was living in Pittsburgh, any vacation that I took, I was like, let's go to like a sunny tropical place. And so, which is why I went to Key West so many times. And so now a second home for me, kind of. Go there frequently. And I live over here, really close to the beach in Southern California. And so now, actually, this year, my husband and I were talking, like, for the first time ever, we're like, I think maybe we want to take a trip, like a winter wonderland. And I would have never considered that before, because when you take a vacation and you live in a winter place, you go to a sunny tropical place. So
right.
Now, I guess we've lived here long enough to want to do some sort of like ski lodge, and
Okay.
I'll get a whole bunch of winter fashion, which winter fashion is my favorite.
It
kind
is
of
pretty
fashion.
cool. Any ideas where you guys are gonna go?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm getting some advice from people that are telling me kind of pros and cons of different areas, but my husband is the one that like he really, really loves to sit down and like put together these little packages. Like he could be a travel agent on the side. So I just kind of let him do stuff, and once he kind of comes all together, he'll be like, here's what we got, here's our options, what do you think? So he's the one that's looking into it.
Sounds nice and easy.
Yeah, he loves that kind of stuff. So
Very cool. So going back to porn for a little, you've been in the industry 3 years. Is there anybody that you haven't worked with yet that you'd really like to shoot with?
I would love to work with Johnny Sins. He is from Pittsburgh. So I met him a few times. He's a very, very sweet guy. Him and Kisso have always kind of been, I always really liked them and their stuff and their content and just their attitude. So he is somebody that I would definitely like to work with. We were talking about this earlier, but I really want to work with Aubrey Kate. She's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And I love doing that kind of work. Who else? I don't know, I'm starting to work with a lot of people. My list is shrinking. If I think of somebody. Oh, I want to work with Jason Love.
Oh, okay.
And for the longest time, actually, top of my list was Dredd, but I just recently, we just worked together and did some content for his OnlyFans and my OnlyFans.
Oh, very nice.
So we did an anal scene, which was beautiful. So
Hear that, people?
yeah.
Sign up for Lisey's OnlyFans. I don't know if I should be plugging other stuff, but I think
Right?
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's yours.
It was really intense, and let me tell you, I took all of it balls deep.
Wow.
So, which impressed me, because when I saw it, I was like, for the first time, like me being an anal queen, I was like, whew, I don't know about this. And I went into it, I was actually kind of nervous, and it was funny because I didn't come really prepared. I just didn't bring any toys, didn't bring anything, and I was like, here we go, let's do it. And yeah, we just went for it, and it was really intense, and I loved every second of it. So I hope that we get to do something again soon, whether it's for our own sites or whether it's for, I guess he's on contract with Jules Jordan, so if it was with Jules Jordan, which I've never done anything for Jules before,
okay.
so except for Manuel Manuel's Raw.
Okay.
I guess it's distributed by
Yeah.
Jules Jordan.
Yeah, it's in the family.
It's in the family.
Yeah. Get on it, Jules. So, as far as anal goes, I mean, you love it, obviously. What is it about it for anybody that hasn't tried it before? Like, what do you find satisfying about it? Can you elaborate on the difference in the way that it feels?
Yeah, definitely. So the reason that I started doing anal was because one of my inspirations, who is Blake Rose, she's a beautiful blonde bombshell. I saw her just taking giant black dick up the ass, and she's this beautiful, innocent, like really put together girl. And so I just love that contrast of just being like a super dirty, like anal slut and looking the way that you did. So a lot of people say that I look very innocent, and so I love that contrast. So mentally, I think like as a whole picture is really, really hot. And when I first started doing anal, I had a really difficult time with it. Anybody that's tried anal knows that it's tough, but it is mind over matter. And if you can what I did was imagining what it might look like, getting fucked in the ass like that. And that kind of made it easier. And as I went on, I learned to not have that like initial kind of intensity, like pain. If you just sort of like, yeah, I want this big dick in my ass, and it's really, really enjoyable. And for me, I can actually really pretty much only squirt from anal. So once you allow yourself to succumb to the anal pleasures that are waiting for you, it is euphoria.
Okay.
Or euphoric, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Well, it's the state of euphoria.
Yes.
Okay. When did you discover that you could squirt?
I had been trying to squirt for a really long time. That was something that was super hot to me, and I was like, man, I can do like everything else. It's mind over matter, right? Mind over matter. You just have to train yourself mentally. And I had questioned whether it was something physiologically that you either could do or you couldn't do.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that claim that all girls can squirt. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if there's been enough studies on that. But eventually, I was actually playing with another male performer, and my husband, they were taking turns fucking me privately in my bedroom. And the guy was pretty big, so I had a hard time taking him vaginally, which I have a very tiny and tight pussy, so getting fucked like that can be really difficult for long periods of time. So I was like, okay, just throw it in the ass. And so he was fucking me in the ass, and my husband was holding my Hitachi on my pussy. And I came so fucking hard, and I realized, I squirted a little bit. And, sorry, my eyelash is fucking up.
That's all right.
I squirted a little bit, and I was like, no fucking way. And once you kind of realize the, how the release is, I guess, you can sort of figure it out. And it's still, after that, took me a little bit of practicing and everything, so, yeah.
So is it like everybody says, it almost feels like you have to pee before?
Not always.
Okay.
No, it's usually for me it's like triggered by orgasm.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that it feels like I have to pee. It just feels like I have to come.
Okay. That's good. So any advice for people that want to learn how to squirt?
I would say just keep practicing. Set yourself up in the shower, because I think sometimes a lot of apprehension in people's minds is making a big mess. So once you just kind of get past that, just set yourself up in the shower, start practicing, use both holes, I don't know, dig around in there, and make sure that you're well hydrated, because if you're dehydrated, you're not going to produce any kind of fluids like that, right? And just let yourself go mentally, physically, and just allow yourself to like experience as much pleasure as possible.
All right, sounds good. Very cool. So, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Anything you'd like to add to our Hot Movies fans?
I don't know. I thought that this was a pretty good interview. We talked about a lot of little casual things that we don't normally get to talk about in interviews, so that was really fun. And I think it'll give my fans a really nice way to learn more about me and feel like they know me.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, you want to blow a kiss to the camera, something like that?
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this interview.